Oh, yeah. No, you're coming back to me, baby.
Ooh. Let me just deep throat the mics.
It would be the first time.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if that's what we'll do when maybe we do the nondescript show idea that we have planned. if we get that.
Just deep throat mics.
Yeah, that's the show. That's the entire show. Hello, welcome to inside what is presumed to be the mouth of a mind flayer. This is the show where we deep throat mics constantly. That's how we bring it back to like the RPG style.
Brought to you by Natural One Productions.
Yeah, Natural One RPG presents the mouth of a mind flayer. Hello and welcome to the Tilt the Real podcast. We've returned.
Hi, everybody.
Did you just toot a little bit?
I did.
That clearly has started on a good scale.
Hi, everybody.
We're opening with deep throating mics, slurps, and a toot.
Oh man,
we've reached the pinnacle.
We have.
We peaked. we can't make it above this.
It won't wear another. Oh, but yeah, I'm Francisco.
I am Marshall, and we are now neighbors.
We are. Oh my
we
God.
took that week off because Franny had to get himself ready to move.
Right. And
here we are.
Yeah. Just for everybody out there who thinks that moving is a lot of fun, it isn't, and you're stupid.
It isn't, and you're a sadist.
Yes.
Or is it a masochist? No, it's a masochist. If it's your
sadist,
if it's your own pain.
Sadist is the other guy.
Yeah.
Inflicting the pain.
So I'm the sadist, and you're the masochist. Got it.
Right. Oh man, no, moving is just
so funny story. Like
okay.
when we moved, I think you might actually see it there. Yeah, right there on the video. I got like this. I like scratched my arm on my way to back to the shop in Lake Geneva.
Did you?
And I like scratched my arm, and all of a sudden I like felt like it was like, ow, why did it hurt? Like it was like a bump, and it was because I at some point I got a decent splinter.
Ooh.
In my arm.
Oh.
And I was like, what? And then, but like, because I did that, the part that was sticking out, like, broke off. So I'm just like, and because I have no nails, I'm just like sitting in the shop, like trying to get the last remaining like little bit that is out there and trying to pull it out. Cause it wasn't so far in that I had to worry about trying to do some type of digging.
Right.
It was still there. Like I could still grab some of it, but I needed my nails. Instead, I kept pulling my arm hair. So I'm just sitting in the shop but before the session starts, just trying to like
Are you sure you didn't get any mold in it? Make sure it's not infected in any way?
It seems to be good so far.
All right. Good news
so we're doing
that.
good.
Yeah, good news about that. The dresser that we moved, with like the entire backside just filled with mold.
Yeah,
you saw.
No, yeah, I'm aware. He had. There was in his girlfriend's parents' garage. They had a couple dresser things and a mattress there. However, only one of the dressers, just the back and a bunch of the wood on the bottom and back are just covered in mold.
Yeah, yeah. We had to dispose of the back. The bottom turned out to have mold all over. So we bleached to the hell, and now after day 2, it looks like most of them are dead.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully
I don't know what the longevity in terms of like when you should call that.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's what something you have to just figure out.
Yeah. By the light of the of Celeste's cell phone, we can see that some of them were at least gone. So we'll double check with my high-powered flashlight later. But yeah,
your high-powered flashlight.
Essentially, it's
what makes it. Is it like shoot X-ray? Like just
effectively, you can like push it out and it'll zoom in the lens to focus on one solid spot, so you can get someplace really far away, about a good 300 meters away.
Okay.
And it would be like, yeah, I could see right there.
I see why a security man would use that.
Right. I bought it when I was doing the overnight shift, just walking around the park.
Yeah. Oh, that's the one they bought then. Yeah. Oh, hello. We have a cat visitor in the background now.
Oh yeah, that's.
Don't get used to this sight of the image. I know, internet, you love cats, but they will not be staying here.
Yeah. And good news though, Marshall now has a dog again.
We do have a dog again. I'm very happy. We are now dog owners once again.
Yeah. Kevin Nelson, Dwight Schwartz.
we're trying to see if we can solidify a name, but I feel like because the dog is 4, we should come up with that name sooner.
Yes. Oh man.
You know, it's one of the because I feel like we have to we got to settle on it because it's old enough that it's used to. I mean, it wasn't called anything. It was like a street dog before.
Right. Yeah.
But it's gonna not be receptive to everything forever, unlike a puppy where you can kind of play with it for a couple times. Oh, he's doing good. I wasn't sure if he was gonna hop in the box that's sitting on the couch.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
He will do it. He's a proper cat. He will hop in that box.
I'm not gonna lie to you. There's been at least twice where he just came around my leg and I just jump a little bit. Because what is that? Oh.
Yes. Once again, though, you don't have to get too used to it, as they will not be here forever. They were leaving today, in fact.
Thankfully. Oh man. So.
Thankfully. What do you have against the cats?
Nothing. I love the cats too. It's been a few days, man.
Oh yeah.
Of just unpacking stuff, murdering some flies. My girlfriend has told me that I've become the full '90s dad from a sitcom.
You kind of really went there while we were moving. You really started to get into that realm, because you just you had a number of the just just had solid you had to sit there and just all right, well, it's just we have to do it now.
Right. Well, for her thing was you know how there'll be those episodes where the main plot's something, but the subplot's dad trying to kill this one insect or kill this one bug. That was me last night. Celeste is cleaning the kitchen and whatnot, and I'm just there with my U-Haul contract, because that's the only thing that seems to kill these fuckers. Just where is he? I almost got him. I swore I hit him.
Almost.
But yeah, the bed's working. We had to buy actual 60-inch boards to put underneath.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the frame was a little bit too large.
The bed frame, or the yeah wait.
Yeah, you know the iron sides are on the sides of it.
Yeah.
Yes, kitty. You want up?
I think he wants. He wants on the desk, which that should not happen.
Okay.
He's going to turn something off. He has already done it once.
Yep.
He wants the desk. Come here. Nope. Nope.
All right. Well, now he's. All right, Miles. What do you think about the current geographical political climate?
There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
All right.
I agree. It's a strong political statement.
It is very strong.
Yeah, I mean, we don't usually like to get political, so I'm sorry if
Right. I can't believe he said that about. I can't believe he said that about the Africans, man.
I'm really glad. I can tell you were cycling through every option and trying to find the one that was not going to be offensive. I can appreciate that. Because you saw where that's gonna be something bad. You were gonna go with things that were political.
Yes.
And then we're like, maybe I need to find something that's not.
Why is this harder now? But yeah, no. I had to buy some boards. Went to Home Depot. Had them cut. And I was like, yeah, I feel like a man.
I feel like a man. Did you get the what is it called, the masonite for the back of the dresser yet, or are you waiting to make sure all the mold is gone?
We're waiting to make sure, to be honest. And to be fair, it's just gonna be if it's just the back to the wall, nobody's gonna see that. Really,
that kind of was my argument.
Yeah,
but I guess it's just depending on what your desire is.
That's fair. And in future, we have screws for it,
I would recommend, for when it gets screwed back in, at some point investing in a power drill. I would invest in that. I feel like now, if you're going to be living, together, on your own but together,
right,
you should invest in a power drill.
I have one. It's just back in the Burlington one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can just go pick it up at some point.
Yeah. I don't live there anymore, so I can see it. It's not like anybody else lives
there.
But
at some point, if it is yours, you could at least just be like, "Hi, I've come back. I need my drill." those aren't as involved things, because we'll inevitably be going towards that area again anyway for the shop and whatnot.
That's true. Yeah.
If anything, it's just a quick detour. However, what you should, I was gonna say, one of the things now that we've discussed this move thing
Yes.
that you should get used to
Yes.
is potentially this site or what will inevitably hit the site of his apartment.
Yeah, most likely. At some point, we're gonna be like, yeah, let's record at my place.
More of the podcast. We can't really
Yes.
record the gameplays there up until
No.
you get some type of desktop.
Exactly.
Because when we did it last time, we did it over on a couch over there, and we used my laptop for capturing and for audio, and it just got so hot, and I just don't want to run it that hot continually. Laptops are known for not being the most amazing cooling unless they're like supreme gamer laptops, and it's not that. It's 2-in-1. It's still not a bad processor and like a computer, but it's not meant for this.
Understandable.
However, just the podcast, totally fine.
Yeah,
Because we will, when most of the time, inevitably once when we change the desk that my stuff is sitting on here, I do plan to try to create a way so that I can put my tripod and my camera up on it a little better, so that we can just use that instead of this webcam, just for a little better quality of light or of picture.
I mean, if nothing else, I now have a IKEA desk I have to make when I get back home.
So you got rid of a desk.
Yes.
But you picked up an IKEA desk.
Yeah.
Why didn't you keep the other one?
Because the other one, the other one.
Because you could have just took out the drawer. I did that. That's the way my desk is upstairs in my room.
Well, that one is too big for the space we have, and the one I got was a corner desk. So it's made for the corner. It's just two sides, and you just kind of sit in there, and it looks nice.
It's technically bigger though, then, isn't it?
Huh?
It's technically bigger than though, isn't it?
No.
How wide is it?
All right.
Because that didn't seem that wide. It seemed like only about this wide in terms of that desk.
The
that you got
desk
rid of.
we got rid of?
Yeah, the Goodwill
No, that's a big one, dude.
I don't know.
It's a little bit smaller than your kitchen table.
I doubt that.
Yeah.
I held it.
Yeah.
I doubt that.
It's
It's definitely smaller than this desk.
It is not smaller than
It
this
definitely
desk.
is.
No, it is not. I can tell you that right
I was
off the
able to
bat.
pick that up with two hands. I could not pick this up with two hands. It'd be too wide. It would be like that uncomfortable like this.
Okay,
I was able to pick it up like
you
this.
saw it for one day. I had it for years, so I know how big this thing is.
But I picked it up.
Yeah,
So I know its size.
so did I. It's definitely bigger than this desk. Anyways, besides the desk that you have no frame of reference for people listening into this podcast, what else is going on with you, Marshall?
I mean, I'm. It's funny for outside of just trying to get work done. Because I am very much coming to the conclusion that I am terrible at working at home. I wish I had an actual place to go as an office. But outside of that, yeah, no, just in terms of my free time, just trying to get more things kind of figured out with stuff with Nat One.
Okay.
Yeah. I've just been trying to do some mind babies for content.
Oh, okay.
But and then otherwise, I've recently, especially this is actually before even we started playing Pokemon for the Let's Play. I've definitely for some reason I've had an itch to continue to play that. But right now I'm semi struggling with the idea of, because I had beaten Let's Play or Let's Go. Let's play Eevee. Pokemon Let's Play. Something that up until earlier this year would have been a pipe dream in terms of monetization if you wanted to monetize it.
That's true, yeah. Oh man. Okay, so you finally beat it, actually?
Yeah, it was actually before even we filmed that session. I had finally beaten Let's Go Eevee, because I just neglected it. It's not like it's hard because it's just Kanto. I'm used to that.
Right.
But I finally got through it and everything. I tried making a difference because I just forcibly I transferred a Dratini from Pokemon Go once I got to Fuchsia City, and then so I really tried to push a Dragonair to be a big pinnacle point of my team.
Ooh.
Just because I never really did that before. I never had that opportunity because you have to get really lucky by the power plant to get a Dratini before
Pokemon Go.
Yeah, no, before like you get the Fuchsia City, and then in older generations you just had to be really lucky in the power plant or in the Safari Zone, because they replaced the Safari Zone with the Pokemon Go whatever it's called. I think it's called Pokemon Go Safari. I think it is.
I didn't even know that you could do that.
You can only transfer Gen 1 Pokemon, though, which is funny to me, because then I still lend credence to my argument of why are people so mad about the Pokédex thing, when it's like, I mean, yeah, like, sure, I get the idea that it's a remake of a Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah.
But in Leaf Green, you could trade with Pokemon Emerald and Ruby and Sapphire, so like what's the difference? So that more led credence to my argument of why I feel like people shouldn't be that upset about the Pokédex thing. Like, it's in the idea of it's not the first time argument mainly. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. Eventually, maybe we'll get him to come down. Eventually, he'll have the need.
Right.
He'll have the urge to move downstairs. I don't know what's up with him in the stairs. Before we started the podcast, we attempted to try to get the
new dog,
our new doggo down the stairs, and he was not having it.
No, he wasn't.
I don't know what's up with that.
He like I was saying, Mom, since he was a stray, he might just be thinking that you might be trying to take him back, and that's my headcanon of what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, because it's clearly the steps of going down the porch to go outside wasn't bad from the house we left where we picked him up. But the bigger stairs, that's a no-no, at least for now. I mean, eventually he's going to be like, have to go. And we'll just have to coax him down one way or another.
All right, hopefully he doesn't go up there.
Well, at some point, I feel like we couldn't just carry him down. He's light enough and he's calm enough that we can just bring him downstairs, and eventually he will learn the stairs are okay. Because we'll have him go up the stairs enough, and then when we can bring him down, then maybe he'll start to learn that, all right, I can go down the stairs. It's fine. But yeah, no, a lot of it's probably just comfortability,
Most likely. I wouldn't doubt it.
So yeah, we'll have to peek in between the episodes here and whatnot. And as we're recording Fire Emblem. So.
Oh, I am so excited.
So I really haven't played much of it. You've been playing a little more.
Quite a bit.
Because in a way I've been ignoring it. Mostly just because honestly, it was mainly just because I didn't really, it kind of caught me at a bad time in terms of trying to get playing done.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, no, I think when I started, I found myself intrigued, so I'm excited to actually play it more in the Let's Play, since it'll be coming out a day after this podcast. So I feel like it's not much to really tease it.
You are going to love it. Yeah, the music is amazing.
Yeah, I'm the one thing that I think I'm still concerned about, that I think that I'm the most concerned about going forward, is just the fact that, to me, I'm a little kind of disappointed, though, in the fact that I feel like Fire Emblem has moved more away from what it was and the game it was supposed to be, and it's just gone more into life sim and relationship building rather than the actual game that it was supposed to be. I feel like I've had that. That was part of my problem, I think, with the 3DS ones. Was I felt like I was way more pressured to have the things that they have centered around the relationships, like the support and duels, and having the people either next to each other or combined with each other, and that kind of thing, and how that
right.
Immediately influences all of the traits and whatnot. Where it's I kind of just more like that as the side thing, I really that was kind of my thing, is I like doing that on my own time, finding a way to make them work, because I feel like it was one of those where that was pushed really fast, the idea of all the support stuff and whatnot, and how heavy that gets pushed because of the way that the game functions. But that was kind of the thing, was I don't know any of these characters, so I don't know what I feel like is the right relationships to like foster as I'm playing relationship god in this game of romance.
That's why you gotta do the bonds with every single one of them.
Yeah, but that's
the
what
only way you get to learn about them, really.
Well, I mean, but you still, in a way, though, you get to semi-learn about them more. But that's the thing. It's like when you start to learn more and more and more, there's a point where you don't go back. So suddenly you've like that's the thing. Like you can learn more about, like, say, even in the scenario, like that's the thing. Like you still only progress so fast, but like supports build way faster now than they used to.
Yeah.
So because of that, like you have way less time before somebody reaches like S.
Well,
and creates the bond that can't be broken.
Well, it's with those you can always the new ones at the very least. I think with all of them, all the ones that introduce the support system, you can always choose not to select the final option.
So you can always just abstain.
Yeah.
But yeah,
everything else.
It definitely though is more of like the pressure to it, whereas like, because of the way that I had gone through the stories in Awakening and Fates, I just didn't feel as attached to the actual story that was being told, and I felt like I was more attached to the idea of who's going to marry who. And that's really that's what I'm hoping maybe is going to be approved in this one as well. Maybe maybe it's just like the way that those two were. I wasn't huge on.
Well,
Echoes. I wish I had played more of it. I literally just only didn't play it more because I just like stopped playing my 3DS more. That was pretty much entirely it. But that was the one where I was starting to feel like I maybe was really starting to get back into like what the game was actually telling me.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel as pressured either as Fates and Awakening.
Well, to be fair, because Echoes is based off the older Fire Emblem Gaiden game that they had.
Yeah, no, weird.
Yeah,
it's almost like it lends more credence to my point.
Right. Well, regardless, they did reinvent some of the characters in there so that they don't just have one lines like in the original.
Well, yeah, because they're definitely back with like the Gaiden one. Yeah, there's no a lot of the stuff that like the things that are even in the GBA ones that I know.
Yeah, they get one line, and
they were
you don't know
nowhere near
else.
that. Yeah, they were nowhere near that level. But like it definitely did like kick up to a way bigger degree than it did because of, especially with Awakening, because of the whole child system.
Mm-hmm.
They very clearly like wanted to push you into the idea of like getting max supports, kind of sooner, because that way you can utilize, or the sooner than you can utilize once it becomes available to you, at least, this whole like child coming into your army, somehow not creating a time paradox thing.
Well, I mean, fair.
That was one thing I thought about. It's like, why wasn't this like a weird time paradox problem?
There's 2 timelines.
I guess
it's Zelda timeline.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, and then which Marvel stole.
Yeah, essentially.
But
I think you'll like this new Fire Emblem, from what I already know.
Yeah, I mean, like what I have enjoyed about it so far is while the way it has this whole life sim aspect, the way it's now introduced, I actually have a way less. When I've started to get to know some of the characters, I have had way less of it being centered around like the supports and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like a previous system that I thought was really good was Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance, where they had a talk section and then they had support. And that way you were able just to see these snippets of what the characters were like, and there you could kind of just start to learn a little more about kind of what you felt like really worked in terms of those characters, and you just got attached to them a little more. But then like its gameplay was still really good because of the way it did like a try system. Instead of having you choose classes, they just did like a triple promotion system.
Right.
So that's why I felt like there was a good mix of like how you could manage your characters and where you could go with like the romances and whatnot. Because the other thing that I had a problem with in terms of gameplay wise with like Awakening and Fates was the amount of choice you had in terms of where you can put characters' classes.
What do you mean?
To me, for just me personally, I have the issue with too much choice. Like I think too much choice is not good. So the fact that you can essentially make anybody anything, especially your tactician, like you, is to me somewhat deteriorates what the entirety of that character is supposed to like be and what its class is supposed to be when I can just bow out. and just do whatever I want. Like I like kind of having at some point in it to be able to just have it like you still have to do this. Like so like a good example obviously would be I would say is like I guess maybe the best one is something either like Sacred Stones because it's at least not super like the second seal isn't really much of a thing, at least not in a big level. But like where it had a lot of choice, but you still like where you could like go and whatnot. But like in terms of like the actual game, there wasn't a whole lot of it. But obviously, like to me, I'll always be more attached to like the way things were in like Fire Emblem 7 and 6 and whatever, where it was just you have a Cavalier, they just become a Paladin. That's just it. There's no Great Knight.
I don't know.
You don't get to choose Great Knight.
I don't know, man. I've always been a fan of having a lot of choices. I hate being restricted to just one simple choice for here and there.
Yeah, but like I don't like too much because that was like my problem with like Assassin's Creed 4, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was just like there's everything. Like you open the map and it's just like, oh my god, there's so many things. I am just overwhelmed. And it's just like I don't know how much I want to do any of these things. Because that's the other thing. It's in other games at least. They'll have this problem with Fire Emblem. It doesn't have this problem because of the way the game works. But the problem with something like Assassin's Creed 4, it's like, yeah, but if I don't do these things, I don't get this. Like, do I just not get to do this one cool thing? Or in some games, it's like this story or this like you just don't get like the good ending. In some games, like if you don't get like 100%, you don't get the good ending. Like that was always something that I kind of always had like problems with because I never felt like I had the desire or the time to achieve that. Luckily, Fire Emblem doesn't have that problem. There's really no like collectibles and
there wasn't Radiant Dawn.
What was it again? It was
okay. So it was after you completed the game the first time. New Game Plus. If you did certain criteria here and there, you would unlock this this diverging storyline towards the end. That
was more, but that was less like collectibles and more just like challenges, like do this thing, and then you'll continue to go down this path.
No,
right?
not really. It's just you would like in this mission while doing this, kill the Black Knight, or in this mission make sure you find this person.
So yes, that is what I said. Those are challenges. Because you're like like for example, like some of them where the Black Knight shows up, you don't have to kill him, but if you do, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Not like I mean like there's not like feathers on the map and you have to find all the feathers.
No.
That's what I mean by collectible. Like that's what I mean.
It's nothing like that. But
yeah, like Fire Emblem has never had that, and so at least in those, obviously that's not going to affect anything, or like whether or not you get like the whatever ranking. You know,
that's true.
So that's where I feel like it has some benefit.
Well, it's like Valkyria Chronicles is terrible with that, where they're like, you need to kill all the squad leaders and also beat this mission with an A rank to unlock some hidden episodes that you can watch.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that type of stuff. You know, but that's why I've loved like a lot of the Final Fantasy games that like in the past especially was that there was a lot of like there was plenty of choice. Like Final Fantasy 3s for me is a great example.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has very much an open world aspect, obviously, and you can go to certain places too soon, especially at least after you get off the floating continent, and you beat that like and you restore the like land or like in time and whatever.
Yeah.
But and like then you also have the benefit of having the choice of all the jobs because it's when the job system was first brought out.
Okay.
And so you have all the jobs available to you, and you have a number of places to go. But there's definitely like there is definitely like a way to go, like in terms of like events and dungeons to like transfer. Kind of like Zelda 1, where it's like, should you go to the last dungeon first? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go to that far in terms of Final Fantasy, but you can in some other areas. Like you can explore certain areas that aren't blocked off by certain paths, but it has a linearity to it in a number of other areas that makes it knowledgeable, so you always know where you're going. Because the problem with like super open games is you can get lost in what you're supposed to do really easily. and that's where it becomes then you're stuck. Because if you try coming back like months later, like I haven't played this game in a while, maybe I should play it again. And suddenly, like you're like,
well, then the open world has failed if it hasn't given you more things to do in the meantime.
That's not what it is. It's knowing what the main quest is, though. It's not having things to do.
All right, so
it's not about having things to do. It's about knowing what you're supposed to do.
So if you turn on Skyrim right now, what would you do?
That game does a good job of it.
Yeah,
so that's what I mean. That game does a really good job of it. There are games out there that don't.
And that means that the open world has failed at that point, and then it should not have been an open world game.
No, yeah, I love open world games when they work. Like that's why to me, like Assassin's Creed 4 didn't really work. I didn't think it worked great as an open world game. I thought it was too saturated.
Yeah.
Because of how saturated it is, I came back and I was like, where am I supposed to go? I don't what? Which one's the right one?
Well, I feel like you can also argue that with any other game. Just even with a linear game, you're like you leave it for months, come back, and you're thinking, what were we doing? Where are we at the story? It's just
it wasn't even as much of the story, but it was just even like, what's not finding fish in the ocean, or like ship upgrades? What's an actual thing? And that like I have to go like eventually like you maybe find like a thing where it's like sail here, and it's like. Okay, finally.
Well, Marshall,
it took me like an hour to get here.
I feel like you're just describing just the regular dissonance that you get from leaving a game for a while.
Not as much, I don't think, because there are a number of games I've come. I come back to Pokemon, and it's real easy to figure out where I'm at.
That's because Pokemon is pretty simple to follow. You turn on, you're like, I have this team, and I'm here. Tell me to go here. After a certain point, you can get lost in Pokemon. I found that out. Like once you know fly and you decide to fly someplace you're not, you usually wouldn't go, and you're like, where am I?
I don't know. Because actually another Pokemon game I forgot. I finally also beat Sun and Moon.
Did you?
And that is very much a game where I easily could have gotten lost. I came back though, and I immediately knew where I was going. I haven't played that game in over a year and a half, and I was able to figure it out. And that's probably, I would honestly say that Pokemon is probably almost maybe the most open world one that has come out in a long time. Because I feel like with the way the islands were, there's a lot of freedom.
It's true, but you're still going back down a certain path.
Yeah, and that's what I think works. Like I think you have to have something to allow you to get back on track. Otherwise, you get lost. That's cause like you can have plenty of that's what Skyrim did really well.
Yes,
is it always had a track for you to fall back on. Like you could get lost a bunch of places in Skyrim. You can get so far gone, you come back and you're like, where the hell is anything? But there's always that slot.
And the opposite is true too.
Where that has like this little line where it's like, this is where at least, hey, you can always come back here.
The opposite is true too. If you too much just direction, just makes you feel like you're just playing through scenes.
No, yeah, I mean rail shooters aren't fun either.
Yeah,
but there is a happy medium in how like a lot of open world stuff works. It's just there's a lot of things that are very hard in terms of getting there. It's not a perfect formula because there's a lot of games that do it wrong, and there's a lot of games. There are plenty of games that do it right, but there are a lot of games that do it wrong.
You know how hard it is to balance that in the when playing that for a D&D campaign too.
Oh yeah.
That's
I mean, especially for like a show like what we do. You know, that makes it really hard because you have to you have to have something, otherwise people are gonna get bored watching it.
And me personally, I hate being railroaded, like not to a T, but like if it's very obvious that the DM's like, no, we need to go that. Oh no, the road has broken down and you need to go that way. And then you're like, what? Really? That's it? I'm just gonna head back then. Stuff like that.
Yeah, you pulled that a little bit on the Crescent Moon.
Yeah,
but you could have went. Nobody was gonna stop you from going forward into the orc camp. You just would have died.
Yeah, I know.
You absolutely would have died because you would have been caught in the middle of a giant orc army.
Well, I'm saying
even if like he hadn't, even if I didn't have the plot point of the shadow showing up, you would have died.
Well, either way,
I have a reason, but that I won't tell.
The point is, I absolutely dislike any situation like that where they're like, no, you have to go down this way and only this way, especially in a game that's as filled with choices as D&D.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, at the same time, there are one of those where you just call, like, it's like the keystones of a story, right?
All right.
Sometimes you have to be forced down a way, but that way then will lead to other choices for you to make then in the future. It's like, it's like how Dragon Age works a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like it is very much these pinnacles that you have to follow, but also has plenty of places for you to just choose to go. Like the first one mainly, especially.
So in a situation like, you either have to kill this guy or you have to let him go. Simple, black and white.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, what if the person just says, how about I just pay him to come with me?
I mean, that's where then that's where the aspect of at least with D&D, that's where you get the benefit of, like, it's partly also then based on your team, like what your party wants. A good example was our Thursday campaign, where we we had like these bandits, and originally you would have the idea of like if this was a normal campaign, you'd probably have the struggle of like, well, should we just like have the bandits come with us, and we just make them essentially do, make right by just doing our will or whatever, right? Like essentially putting them into indentured servitude, and whatnot, like putting them into our army that has grown in this campaign, that we now have an army.
Right.
And that, so like that was something, but then it was kind of, but like obviously there's going to be a number of people that are just like, no, they must die. They have done, like, their sentence is to die. However, we're playing in a low magic campaign, so that's just actually how it works. In terms of the 6th century, that's just how things are. There isn't much for like forgiveness. Any noble is just like, nope, they die. That's a history aspect though that gets put down your throat. That's acclimating to the historical aspect of it, that it's not normal D&D. This is 6th century, like more like the actual 6th century in terms of history.
Oh yeah.
So no, yeah, but in that scenario, that's where like the party aspect comes into mind. It's, you can be like somebody, like you can have like, you can be in a situation, yeah, where there's like the guard captain comes to you and it's like, or like your captain, or like you're in a group, you're staying with this group, and the group like put somebody down and it's like, all right, you can kill them or I will kill them. Oh, but what about blank? And like they're putting you into it, but in a way there's some realism to that. At the same time, as much as you love the aspect of choice in D&D, in life you are not always given that choice, and sometimes that's what's important. It's kind of important to remember that in the game, because in a way, for example, like that was what I like that kind of used with the Rothian in Dark Matter. I wanted to reinstill the idea though that no matter what, you have to somewhat understand remember that in the idea of like characters and what we know in people's lives and what these characters' lives are, is that they're going to feel like they lack the ability to choose a situation and an ability to do something. As much as we love this to be a fantasy world, sometimes choice is removed from us and we have obligations or certain duties that we have to fulfill or whatever, or choices. Oh, that was the cat, not the dog. There are things that are forced, or there are just choices that are forced on our hand.
Right.
And all you can do is acknowledge that your hand was forced. Sometimes that's all you can do. If the entire campaign is that, then it's not fun.
Right.
But if it happens every now and then, that's just kind of what happens,
It's just a matter of figuring out when it's just happening all the time, or if it's just being, or if it's just happening.
Yeah, I mean that was the issue I had that I was concerned about with Shadows a long time ago. Was I felt like I was concerned that I felt like I was doing that. Like I felt like I may have only been super pushy, and that was why I was like, we're starting this channel. We're starting to move over to we're starting this channel.
Right.
Like we have a chance to do something new here. Like, do you just want to like start something fresh? Maybe because like I feel like I'm making it a little hard for you guys. I feel like I'm pushing you guys kind of in a line a little bit. Do you feel that way? And if you do, we can move forward. If you don't, then just kind of let me know what you think of how things are going and we can fix it. And I guess apparently the feeling wasn't that, but because we kept going in it. But like I was in this feeling that I kind of felt like maybe I was doing that, but that's where also gauging, how your party feels too.
True.
Do you feel like you're in a linear path? Yes or no? And then just kind of try to work it out with your players,
All right.
Communication.
Yeah.
Like we're going to communicate that this episode is over.
Yeah, we went a little bit longer in this one.
A little bit, but we also have the start buffer, so
fair. Yeah. Still
a little longer. Yeah, we're still long.
All right. Got a little bit heavy towards the end.
Yeah, it very much like the episode very much went into like this like really light and then just like really heavy. Yeah. It just went down. It was like exponential heaviness.
But yeah, no, we should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah. This is my friend Marshall.
This is my friend Francisco. You'll note that I went this direction. See you guys later.
Bye. I hired some people to move you all.
Yeah, no, don't worry. Why don't you hop out and you can see who's helping you move?
Right.
Because who else would be? Clearly, there wasn't enough room, so the movers had to be the ones driving the truck, right?
Oh,
mom was already here.
I have a mom again.
Oh my! Oh my God!